Dang, that always works. Box breathing. Mwah, chef's kiss. Hello besties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I come to you guys in my pajamas, freshly woken up. I got this shirt at the thrift store many years ago and it's still one of my favorite sleeping shirts. It's just so comfy and flowy and I love it. But anyway, today we're going to chat about lesson 3 out of the 5 biggest lessons that I have learned in my early 20s. The way that I feel this morning, I believe is a very true testament to this lesson, which is that your inner reality creates your outer reality. This concept took me forever to grasp, to grapple with it, to understand what that really means, that my inner reality creates my outer reality. So when I was first learning about this and it was first explained to me, I'm going to tell you guys what my friend said to me that really made it click. It's the one thing that really made it snap into place for me. She said that your brain will basically look for evidence in your life to confirm the story that you are telling it. Let me say that again. Your brain will actively look for evidence in your outer reality to confirm the things that you are telling it in your inner reality. So if you're constantly like, I hate my life sucks, I'm terrible at this thing, this sucks, I hate my job, I hate this, I hate that, then your brain is going to look outside of you and find the things that make you hate life so much, and that's what it's going to process for you. But on the flip side, if you start to create a more positive inner reality, then your brain is going to start to find things in your outer reality that confirm that story. So one of the things that I found that really helped me in shifting that inner dialogue to create a different inner reality was naming my brain. I have had a lot of negative and traumatizing experiences in my life. So my brain has already been wired to notice those things because that's the programming that I already have. So in trying to detach from that programming and actively create a different reality, a couple of years back, I named my brain Brian. I know, not super original. It actually started as a typo. I was typing to a friend about how my brain this and my brain that and whatever, and it autocorrected brain to Brian. And ever since then, I've used that to help me leverage this idea that sometimes negative thoughts, negative self-talk, and the intrusive thought don't actually come from yourself. Sometimes they come from an external source, either a parent or a sibling or an older person that was constantly feeding you certain things, even your friends, even your partners. So sometimes your thoughts are not even actually your own, but they are actively shaping your outer reality. So in naming my brain, I was able to detach from the negative thoughts, from the negative self-talk. If I had a negative thought, it felt a lot easier and it was a lot funnier to blame it on my brain, Brian, than to blame it on myself. And that helped me to realize that I can choose to think literally whatever I want. I don't have to stick to this programming of what has been in the past the norm. I can choose every single day to create a different outer reality by changing my inner reality. And it also helped me to realize that your logical brain is not always your best friend. You can't logic your way to a calm nervous system. You have to feel it. That's something that you have to put deep work into, looking into yourself. But your logical brain is going to try to look at the facts and see the things that have already happened, look at evidence and things like that, when in reality, that's not very helpful. It goes into really sitting with yourself and pinpointing what it is that you are thinking about your life and about yourself. What is the story that you keep on reaffirming to your brain, which it's then looking for evidence to prove to you that that's the reality. So my first ever therapist, she had me do this exercise where I was looking in a mirror and she asked me to compliment myself. She asked me to say that I'm beautiful, that I love my hair, that I love myself. And I couldn't do it. I broke down in tears and I could not say the things that she was asking me to say. And so that's when I knew that my inner dialogue needed to change, that the voices in my head were not really benefiting me. Sure, they were keeping me alive and that was fine, but I don't want to just be alive. And so as soon as I started changing that inner dialogue, the way that I spoke to myself, everything around me started changing. I started noticing more peace. I started noticing the good moments with people. Instead of focusing on the bad moments all the time, I was focusing on the good moments. And so more good moments just kept on happening. And I've heard this said before, that everything that we notice is always there. Sometimes we just don't notice it. You know, like when you're driving on the street and you're like, oh, there's a lot of red Corollas out today. And somebody's like, the red Corollas have always been there, you just didn't notice them. That's most likely true. The things have already been there. Your brain is just not affirming that reality because that's not what you want it to be affirming to you. So this lesson is all about you realizing that you have the control to change anything in your life at any moment. And the inner dialogue that you have, the thoughts that you are feeding yourself every single day, is what is going to create your outer reality, and that's what's going to create your life. So this is about really sitting with yourself and wondering about what it is that you're thinking on a day-to-day basis. What are the thoughts that are happening in your head as you're driving, or as you're in the gym, or as you're working? And if they are thoughts that you don't like, then change something. And I'm not saying if you hate your job, quit your job, but there's always something to be learned about when negativity comes in. What is that trying to show you? And it really is about deconditioning yourself from the mentality that was placed on you from growing up, and conditioning yourself to the mentality that you want actively. Again, from actively creating that life that you want. You don't have to be a victim of your circumstances forever. There is a choice to be made every single day. And so to really master this lesson, you start with your inner dialogue. You start with the things that you are telling yourself every single day. Are you looking at yourself in the mirror and giving yourself compliments? Or are you looking at yourself in the mirror and judging yourself every day? Are you on the way to work actively thinking about how much you hate your coworker and how you can't stand your boss and about how you would rather be doing X, Y, and Z other things? Or are you on the way to a job that you don't like, but you're still grateful to have safe transportation? You're still grateful to have a job that pays the bills, and you are still grateful to have a body that's able to function and work and even go to this job that you don't particularly enjoy very much. And so that's where it starts. It seems like it's a huge thing, like you need to do this huge audit of your life and all your thoughts and all that stuff. No, you can start small. You can start with yourself. So today's lesson is really about having a grasp of your inner dialogue. And if there are thoughts that you're having that you don't necessarily enjoy, you can detach from them. You can always choose to detach from the things that you've been programmed to think, and instead choose your thoughts to actively create your outer reality. The brain is just a network of neural pathways that are constantly firing, and the ones that are firing the best are the ones that are constantly repeated. And so to create different neural pathways, to create different ways of thinking, you have to start creating different ways of thinking. You have to start creating the different neural pathways. Your brain is very malleable and you can mold it to be exactly how you want it to be. So you don't have to hate your life forever. You don't have to be a negative person forever. Take it from somebody that hated her life and was a very negative person. And I'm not saying my life is perfect. I have many things that I worry about and I stress about, but I'm more able now to pour gratitude into those things that I'm worried about and stressing about, and I'm more able to come back to myself and breathe and fill my cup and see the beauty in the little moments, because that is what I have chosen for myself now. I'm not somebody that comes from a very happy family home. I'm somebody that comes from dysfunction and trauma, having to always overcome. But I have chosen that that is not what I want to carry forward. I don't want to be in survival mode like my parents have been in survival mode their whole life. And that is my choice. That's a choice that I actively get to make every single day. And once you get past that hurdle of negative self-talk, because it will be a practice. It will be something that one day you'll be okay at, the other days you'll be really bad at, and some days you'll be really great at not allowing the negative self-talk to come in. And that's where naming your brain can kind of help you, because when a negative or intrusive thought comes in, I'm just like, Brian, you're so silly, stop it. And I don't have to sit and think like, oh my gosh, Melissa, why are you thinking that again and stuff like that. No, girl, it wasn't even me. It was just Brian doing his thing. And it sounds a little silly. It sounds really silly the more I talk about it out loud and I say it, but that is genuinely what has helped me in detaching from that conditioning. And so again, your brain is right now wired in a certain way. And if you want to wire it differently, then you have to start actively doing those things differently. If you want to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, then you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. And it will be hard. I was there. Now I'm that person that I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh, girl. It's all a process, but it's not anything that you can't handle, because we all have this beautiful muscle that is able to be trained in whatever way you want it to be. So this lesson is one that I cherish very deeply, and I'm very grateful to the friends that brought this up to light for me and had those hard conversations with me about the negativity that I was spilling from my insides, just projecting negativity. And I'm very grateful also to not feel that way anymore, to not be in the pits, to not be the friend that always has something terrible going on. And it's a real game changer when your inner dialogue shifts from negativity, self-deprecation, putting yourself down, to gratitude and celebration for how far you have come and how far you have yet to go. I feel like I could go on about this forever, because this is something that I've had to deal with, and this is something that has been a lot of work. So this is really going to be one of those lessons that requires a lot from you. And that's because it runs so deep into your subconscious, into your programming, into the things that you have believed about yourself for your entire life. So don't get discouraged. Keep on going at it, because every single day that you practice this, it just gets easier and easier. Every single day that you stumble and revert back and you catch yourself and you remember, that time in between stumbling and catching yourself gets shorter and shorter every single time. And I only speak from experience. I know how deep this work really goes. And I'm very grateful to have learned this in my early 20s. But whatever stage of your life that you are in, this is something worth doing, not only for you, but for everybody around you that you love. Pour that love into yourself. Love yourself, give yourself a compliment on the daily, and remember that you are the owner of your reality. And whatever you give yourself mentally is what will manifest for you physically. I think I'll leave it there. I really loved having this chat with you guys today. Thank you so much for watching and sitting with me again as I try to regurgitate all of these things that I've been trying to teach myself. And I'll see you in the next one.